I'm Dr. Srinivasulu, Professor of CSE. Today I'm going to discuss about software process models, RAD model and spiral model. RAD model. So RAD model is one of the process model which effectively we use when the software project time is very less. So the time duration is very less. We recommend RAD model is going to be a rapid application development model. Basically, it is a response to plan-driven or a waterfall process model developed between 1970 to 1980. But in what instant, in which situation RAD model is going to be used is when the project duration is very less time, then we try to use that. RAD is rapid application development model is a linear sequential software development process. With linear sequential process development. What do you mean by linear sequential process development model means? So how, if you see project, as I was mentioning that previous sessions when I'm in the process model, any software system is not built in a single module. So we have to divide software system into different modules. Module 1, module 2, module 3. If you see this process rapid application model where we are talking about, it's a linear sequential software development process model. Linear sequence. So in module 1, what you'll do is we do the business modeling first step, then we do the data modeling, then we do the process modeling, then we do the application generation, then testing and turnover. When the first business modeling, so business requirements are kept in BRS document as per the software engineering principles, where we are supposed the stakeholder are going to be involved in the requirements gathering analysis is nothing but a business analyst. So he has to model the business model. What type of modeling typically a business analyst will does? You need to understand what type of business any software system is going to do. So I have to analyze that business, right? Suppose, for example, we are developing a solution to healthcare product. Then we are developing a solution to BFS, banking finance sector. So these are different functional domains. Where your BFS, healthcare, right, logistics. So the stakeholders who are involved in software system development, they need to understand the functional domain, knowledge, and they need to analyze it. But RAD model is suggesting that when you are trying to build a different modules, they need to do the business modeling based on BRS document, business requirement specification document. So it talks about complete business flow. BRS talks about business flow, right? Then we develop a different business case studies. Business case studies going to be developed. Right? Then that's how we do the business modeling, which will helpful to the stakeholder who are going to be involved to developing software system. If you see the business modeling, then we understand how the functional behavior of the system, behavior of the system. That is the first step we does in the RAD model. The second step is, after business modeling is done, data modeling. The challenging task or the activity in any process model is, how do you model the database? Any software system, as per the software architecture, database will have one type. So like we have a front end, we have a middleware. So where this more data modeling, the data transaction, how it is happening, the data modeling has to be done. So how the data is going to be arranged, right? Data modeling is going to be done as a second step in any RAD model. Then third step is a process model. Process. We have to define the best process. As per the software engineering definition, process is nothing but a step-by-step procedure. So we have to define the process, need to be defined for developing any software system. Then application generation. So we need to develop a application. How to apply, generating is nothing but developing a software. Then testing. Then you have to test the application, and turnover has to be done. So these are the different step activities in module 1. Business modeling, data modeling, process modeling, and application and generation test over. So like that, we apply for the different module 1, module 3, etc., module n. So, right. Go to the business modeling. We'll discuss in detail what is business modeling. This is information flow among the business functions, defined by answering questions like what data drives the business process and data is generated, who generates it, where does it information goes, and who processes it, and so on. That is exactly in the business modeling is going to be done. It means that we have to understand the business workflow, then we need to understand the business functions, then we need to understand how the data is business process is going to be defined, then how the data is generated, then how how it is going to be processed. That is what exactly we do in the business modeling. Then data modeling. Data modeling is the data collected from the business modeling is refined and into a set of data objects is nothing but entities that are needed to support the business. The attributes is nothing but the characteristics of entity are defined, and the relation between these data objects or entities are defined. So that's how we do the data modeling. It means that we need to define the objectives, entities, then we have to define the characteristics to the entity, then we do the data modeling. So data modeling plays a critical role. Data modeling. If you don't do the data modeling, so data storage and retrieval will become very toughest task in any software system. Then process modeling. Process modeling, the information objects defined in the data modeling phases are transformed to ensure the data flow necessary to implement the business functions. And the processing is descriptions are created, adding, modifying, deleting, retrieving the data. So we have to define a process to add and delete and modify the objects. That's why we have to define the process. We have to do the processing model. So then application generation, right? We use a different type of automation tools or different type of languages to generate the application, right? As I was mentioning that any software system has front end, middleware, and back end, right? Where the data is going to be stored, back end, right? So we have to use a different type of tools and technologies for generating or developing any software system. Then, so testing. Ultimately, the last step in RAD model is, so So we have to test that programming components, right? So we have to see that expected behavior was going to be mentioned in your requirements. Then we have to test that whether the application which is going to be generated is behaving as per the expected behavior. It means that after generating the application, we have a actual behavior. So in the testing, what we does is, we verify expected behavior and the actual behavior. If both are equal, then the test case is pass. Both are not equal, test case is fail. So it means that we does the testing in such a way that, so we have to the expected behavior which is borrowed from the requirement specification document or business specification documents. Then actual behavior is we'll get it from the application generation. Then we design the test cases. Then we execute the test cases. Then we execute the test cases. Then we try to verify the behavior of the system. If both expected and actual behavior is match, then the test case is pass. If it is not matched, the test case is fail. So that's how testing is going to be done. It is a overall testing time, right? So to interface between different modules. Then what are the different advantages of the RAD model? So that RAD model is more flexible for changes, because the changes may be occurred when changes in software development. When a software development is development life cycle, the requirements are keep on adding based on the customer needs. Based on the customer needs, the requirements are keep on adding. So if you use the RAD model, it is more flexible to accommodate the changes which is going to be happen. Then in this model, changes are adaptable. What are the changes we can have? It is adaptable. Then each phase of RAD brings highest priority functionalities to the customer. So each phase, right? As I was mentioning in previous classes, we have to consider the customer priority. Customer priority. If you don't consider the customer priority to develop for using any process models, there is no use. We have to understand we have to gather the requirements given by the customer and analyze it. Then we have to move it into we have to freeze it into the SRS document. Then you have to prioritize those requirements. For example, requirement is highest priority, right? Requirement 1.1 is a medium priority. Then requirement 1.2 is a low priority. So how to prioritize? Prioritization, as per the software engineering definition, it is how urgently customer needs. That priority, how to analyze, and your project plan has to be synced with the customer priorities, right? So in RAD model, it brings the highest priority to function as per the customer. That's what it is possible. It reduces the development time. Why it reduces the development time is because we take it into it is a linear sequential model. So module 1, all the process is completed, all the steps are completed. Module 3, all the steps are completed. Module 3, all the steps are completed. So ultimately, it means that there are parallel teams are working in module 1, module 3. Obviously, the development time is going to be very, very, very less. That's why I was mentioning that RAD model, when the project duration is very less, the customer is maybe expecting the project need to be completed before 90 days, then we strongly recommend RAD model is a best process model for the development of any software system. Then it increases the reusability features, right? No doubt. So if we use the RAD model, it increases the reusability of the features. We can reusable the features. And what are the disadvantages of the RAD model? It required highly skilled designers. Why? How to why highly skilled designers are required? The reason is it was linear sequential. It is a linear sequential software development process model, right? The design module 1, module 2, module 3, right? When you are designing the business model, right? Then data model, process model, application generation model. So we required more skilled designers, because if you do the business modeling, if you're not done business modeling, then the functional behavior may be not expected by the customer. If you don't define data modeling, where the data modeling is not done, then obviously what will happen? There is impact on your database. If you don't define the process model, there is impact on your process modeling. If you don't, right? So modeling plays a vital role in software in RAD model. All applications is not compatible with a RAD model. Yeah, it's true. The reason is developing, because when all the applications are not compatible for using RAD model. The reason behind that, because customer has a different needs. So we have to understand the different needs and convert it into the business model and process model, data model. You have to model it. So all the applications RAD models we can't suggest. We can't suggest the RAD model. For similar projects, we can't use the RAD model, right? So usually in the process model, where you are going to be recommend. For example, I was mentioning that suppose we have a BFS project, BFS domain where we have in BFS domain we have a different customers, statement SBI, right, HDFC, etc. HDFC. So these are the different similar customers in the banking finance domain. So RAD model is not fit for this type of scenario. The reason is the modeling is changes. Data modeling, business modeling, and the process modeling keep on changing based on the need of the customer. So that's why it is not for similar projects. RAD model is not suggested. Then the high technical risk. It is not suitable, right? On the high technical risk, it is not suitable, because when you are developing any software system, we have different type of risks can be occurred. Risks can be occurred. So in the high technical risk, your RAD model is not suggestible. What is the reason behind that? So technical risk, because we don't when you are in the application generation is happening as per the RAD model, technical we may use the different tools, different technologies for in the application generation as per the RAD model. So when the business modeling is done and data modeling is done, then process modeling is done. So the technical risk is very high. Very high. It means that dynamically technologies need to be changed. Dynamically tools can be changed. In that scenario, RAD model is not suitable. Required user involvement. So in this RAD model, user involvement is very much essential. Users has to be involved. Need to be involved in all the steps. That's about the RAD model. So then comes to the spiral model. This is one of the software process model people are talking about. Spiral model is first described by the Boham in 1986. It is a risk-driven software development process model. We'll discuss why it is a risk-driven software process model. We'll discuss after seeing the different activities in the activities which are involved in this spiral model. Then it was dealing with a shortcoming in the traditional waterfall model. Right, a spiral model looks like a spiral with many loops. We have many loops. It is many loops. Then the exact number of loops of the spiral model is unknown. We don't know how many spiral loops are going to be there. So the spiral loops are how many loops are unknown. Then the model supports risk handling and risk handling. So we have to see, suppose in spiral model, if we see first step, right? If you see, it starts like this, right? Objectives determined, and I identified the alternative solutions that is happening in this vertical, right? Then it goes to identify and risk resolves. We have to do the identify and risks need to be resolved. Then develop next version of the product. That is the third activity in this. Then fourth one is review on the plan for the next phase. Right? It is a cyclic process. It is a cyclic process, right? So if we see any software product which has cost is going to be involved, right? It has some reviews has to be done, then release has to be considered, then design has to be evaluation has to be seen. Evaluation has to be seen. If we see that, so if there are it is a 4-quadrant approach. 4-quadrant approach. So if you see that it starts your spiral, it starts like this. It keep on going. Keep on going. First, object identification is done. Then the second evaluation phase, risk mitigation. Then prototyping has to be done. Then in the product development, design, coding, integration, testing, implementation has to be taken care. These are different activities you are going to do in the product development. Then in the next phase planning is going to be done. So it is a cyclic process, and we have a 4-quadrant approach. First one is object identification. Object identification has to be done. Then evaluation has to be done. It is in the evaluation we do the risk management. Prototypes are built. Prototype is nothing but a working model. Then in product development, we do the design. Then we do the coding. Then we do the integration of all the modules. Then we do the testing. Then we implement it, right? So we consider the review. We do the review. Then we do the cost. Then we evaluation, product under the release. If you see how it is happening, right? Object setting. In each phase, in each cycle, in the spiral model is divided into 4 parts. Object setting is going to be done. So the purpose. So we define the purpose of the targets of constructing any software system. Then risk assessment and reduction. So we have to calculate how much risks are going to be occurred. Then alternative based on the goals and need to be defined. Then development and evaluation. The development strategies resolve uncertainty risks. Then including activity and benchmarks and simulation has to be, and prototype has to be building development and validation. Then planning. In the planning, so the next step. So we have to plan the next step. What is the next step we are going to be achieved? It is a continuous process. It is a continuous process. Then when the spiral model is going to be used, when there is a deliverance is required to be very frequent. So we have the releases are very frequent. Then we try to recommend the spiral model. The project is large. The size of the project is large. Then we can recommend the spiral model. The requirements are unclear and complex. The requirements are unclear. It's not clear. It means it is ambiguity in the requirements and the complex requirements. So basically, the requirements, how do you classify the complexity of the requirements? That we will discuss in the requirement engineering in the maybe in the second module. The complexity of requirements may be high, low, and medium. How to categorize as per the software engineering principles. Then, when the changes may require at any time. So, when the changes may require at any time. Large and high budget projects. So, the spiral model, the cost of the budget for the project is very high, and in that case, spiral model is going to be used. Right. Then advantages: high amount of risk of analysis. Right. High amount of the risk analysis. You have to do the risk analysis at a high amount. So risks can be maybe technical risk or the functional risk, right? Risk. So high amount of the risk will be there, and useful for the large and missions or critical projects. So this spiral model we recommend for the large and mission critical projects. We recommend. Then disadvantages can be a costly model to use. Obviously, spiral model is a very costly model because so many iterations, so many cycles we do. So many cycles we do. It is a costly effort. Then risk analysis needed highly particular expertise. So the stakeholder, the risk management should be very expertise team should be need to be high if you use the spiral model, right? Because so many risks are going to be occurred. Does not work well for the small projects. The spiral model, the size of the project is very less, so we don't recommend the spiral model. Right. Thank you very much. Next class.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.